Chapter 9 Calorie Quality Factor 3 Nutrition 250 calories of Twinkies are not the same as 250 calories of broccoli. Calories are clearly different when it comes to discussing the nutrition we need to burn body fat and be healthy. So, what is nutritious? As with everything else, the key to nutrition is quality, but all you're ever told about is quantity, or the nutrition facts labels found on food. The information found on food labels tells you only half of what determines nutrition quality, the quantity of nutrients in the food. But talking merely about the quantity of nutrients in food leads to a very fattening view of nutrition. Consider the American Heart Association endorsement on the box of sugar-stuffed cereal because the cereal was enriched. A high quantity of nutrients combined with low-quality calories is not nutritious. This is why you already intuitively know that 10 donuts are not 10 times as nutritious as one donut. Sure, 10 donuts have 10 times the quantity of nutrients in them, but they also carry 10 times more nonsense. The other half of what determines nutrition quality is the amount and characteristic of the calories we're getting along with the nutrients. We have to consider nutrients relative to calories. Determining nutrition quality is simple. We take the nutrient quantity information provided on nutrition labels and divide it by the number of calories in a serving of the food. This provides the food's nutrition per calorie. Many nutrients per calorie, for instance, provided by non-starchy vegetables, seafood, high-quality meats and dairy, low-fructose fruits, and nuts and seeds, means high nutrition quality. Few nutrients per calorie, for instance, provided by starches and sweets, means low nutrition quality. Sidebar: non-starchy vegetables. Non-starchy vegetables are the most sane vegetables. Think of these as vegetables you could eat raw. You don't have to eat raw, but you could eat raw, and that you would generally find in salads, such as spinach, romaine lettuce, kale, any green leafy vegetable, broccoli, mushrooms, peppers, onions, zucchini, cauliflower, asparagus, etc. Basically anything other than corn, potatoes, turnips, yams, parsnips, radishes, etc. Corn and potatoes are not vegetables. They're starches, and they're insane. Let's look at a quick example of how nutrition quality changes how we look at the world of food. Consider 1 cup of enriched wheat flour versus 1 cup of spinach. When we look in terms of a cup versus calories, enriched wheat flour seems to hold its own against spinach. In fact, per cup, it has more thiamine, more riboflavin, more niacin, more folate, more iron, more phosphorus, and more zinc. Healthy whole grains all day, right? Wait a second. That cup of enriched wheat flour contains 495 calories. 1 cup of spinach contains 7 calories. Is it really fair to compare 495 calories of enriched wheat flour to just 7 calories of spinach? Of course not. That's why per cup measurements or per serving measurements are useless from a nutrition quality perspective. We have to compare foods on an even playing field. So now let's compare 250 calories of enriched wheat flour against 250 calories of spinach. When we make a fair comparison, when we look at nutrients per calorie, spinach beats enriched wheat flour across the board. In fact, providing 2,000% more vitamin A, over 6,000 more vitamin K, over 20 times more folate, and the list goes on. When we make a fair comparison, comparing 250 calories of enriched wheat flour against 250 calories of spinach, instead of comparing 495 calories of enriched wheat flour against 7 calories of spinach, we see that spinach, and really any other non-starchy vegetable, is dramatically more nutritious than enriched wheat flour or any supposedly healthy whole grain. Focusing on nutrition quality allows us to have a more accurate view of which foods are actually good for us. Like satiety and aggression, a food's nutrition depends on water, fiber, and protein. Water and fiber have no calories, and protein calories do not count as much as carbohydrate or fat calories. More on this in the next chapter. Since a food's nutrition quality is found by dividing the number of nutrients by the number of calories, more water, fiber, and protein reduce the relative number of calories in the food and thereby increase its nutrition quality. Keeping water, fiber, and protein at the top of your mind in thinking about nutrition quality immediately gives you a dramatically different view of which foods are nutritious across the board. Consider cereal, bread, or healthy whole grain starches. They are all dry and contain little protein, so they are starting out 0 for 2. Fiber is their only hope. The companies that market starchy foods typically say that you get a great deal of fiber from their whole grain products. But is that actually true? The 4 grams of fiber in 250 calories of whole grain cereal are 100% more fiber than the 2 grams of fiber in 250 calories of refined grain cereal, but that's only comparing grains. We have to ask if grains are a good source of essential nutrients relative to more water and protein-packed foods we could be eating. Sadly, whole grains are not good sources of essential nutrients relative to non-starches. While whole grains are better than processed grains, one broken leg is also better than 2. But being better doesn't necessarily make something desirable. Consider the fiber per calorie in whole grains compared with more water and protein-packed food. Donuts contain 1 gram of fiber in 250 calories. Refined grains contain 100% more fiber, 2 grams of fiber in 250 calories. Whole grains claim to be healthy with 6 grams of fiber in 250 calories, but compare that to non-starchy vegetables, which contain a whopping 46 grams of fiber in 250 calories. Whole grains do have 6 times more fiber than donuts, but non-starchy vegetables have nearly 50 times more fiber. Whole grain toast is better than a donut, but that's not saying much considering the other saner foods you could be eating. For example, if you eat 250 calories worth of non-starchy vegetables, you will enjoy about 46 grams of fiber. To get the same amount of fiber from whole grains, you would have to eat nearly 2,000 calories worth of whole grain bread. Think of it this way. Eating whole grains to get more fiber is a bit like eating carrot cake to get more vegetables. Do whole grains contain fiber? Yes. Does carrot cake contain vegetables? Yes. But we have to look at the quality of calories coming along with that fiber, as well as the quantity of calories we need to eat to enjoy it. Starch and whole grains are an excellent example of how careful you have to be when you consider the nutritive value of food. You could be eating all sorts of whole grain starches thinking you were at the top of the nutrition mountain while you are actually and sadly weighed down and sitting at the bottom. Few essential nutrients plus a lot of unsatisfying and aggressive calories are not a winning combination. Fortunately for us, we do not need to do all sorts of math with nutrition labels to maximize the nutrition quality of our diets. Researchers at Colorado State University did much of the math for us. They analyzed the nutrition quality of the most common foods and found that if we maximize the satiety and minimize the aggression of our diet by eating more water, fiber, and protein-packed food, we will get the most nutrition per calorie automatically. If you would like to calculate nutrition quality for yourself, the math is easy and informative. For instance, carefully check the foods people call good sources of protein, such as beans, milk, and nuts. Are these foods good sources of protein per calorie? Just divide the grams of protein in a serving by the number of calories. In a 250 calorie serving, you'll find 7 grams of protein in mixed nuts, 15 grams of protein in 2% milk, and 18 grams of protein in kidney beans. Compare that to 22 grams of protein in broccoli, 33 grams of protein in spinach, 34 grams of protein in top sirloin, 54 grams of protein in cod, and 56 grams of protein in tuna. Do nuts, milk, and beans contain protein? Yes. Does carrot cake contain vegetables? Yes. But see how empowering it is to consider essential nutrients relative to calories? Nutrition quality also affects whether we are burning body fat or slowing down and burning muscle, the side effects of starvation. When you eat more water, fiber, and protein-packed food, you get radically more essential nutrients while avoiding overeating or overwhelming your body with glucose. Combine more nutrients with less overeating and fewer glucose spikes, and you burn body fat without the negative side effects of starvation dieting. A surplus of essential nutrition is the opposite of starvation and your key to fat loss instead of frustration.